Hello there, I'm Elizabeth or Lizzie, and I would just like to point out right before I even start reading the first chapter of this lovely book called Divergent by Veronica Roth, that you have seen the introduction video that is on my channel, on this channel, the Lizzie Likes to Dream channel. If you have not, go watch that because it is very important so you don't think I'm a psycho and so you understand why I'm doing this and stuff, and it's not just like, why is she reading? Because that's, yeah, kind of important you know that. And also, I would like to just point out for all the different characters, and I will sound like an insane person doing the male characters because I'm not male, if you have not realized that, unless males have really long blonde, bleached blonde hair and makeup on, but I'm not a male, so I have to try to alter my voice to sound like a male, but I will not sound like a male, and I will sound like a freak. I would just like to point that out, that I do that so I can understand which character is which, and it kind of helps you to out there too. And also, I might pronounce some things differently and wrong, because sometimes I don't have a sense of talking, and so just be aware of that. And also, like, sometimes I have problems saying the faction names, and I went and looked it up on like dictionary.com and tried to hear how it's supposed to be pronounced, so I'm hoping I pronounce it right, because I will most likely not be. And I also would like to point out that I do kind of have a Southern accent, and she's supposed to be in Chicago, so, but again, if I ever did get the role of Triss, I would obviously be able to have work with that because dialect, coaches and that kind of stuff. So there we go. I think I'm done with that whole introduction thing, and I will now assume that you have watched the introduction video because that is very important so you don't think I'm an insane person. So now we're going to read chapter 1, and I'm going to hope that I don't screw up, and I'm sorry if this is a very long video. Just stick in there with me. And please give me feedback and tell me what I can do to improve, or if you think I'm doing an accurate depiction of Triss, and I'm not even sure if I said that word right, but feedback is very, very greatly appreciative, and that's why I'm doing this whole channel, so please give me feedback, and don't be too critical because this is a huge step for me. Okay, now that I'm done with that, starting off with chapter 1, and I'm sorry if I take drinks of water, but that's a whole kind of acting thing, is you're supposed to, so your voice is clear. And, okay. Now I'm Triss. Okay. There is one mirror in my house. It is behind a sliding panel in the hallway upstairs. Our faction allows me to stand in front of it on the second day of every third month, the day my mother cuts my hair. I sit on the stool and my mother stands behind me with the scissors, trimming. The strands fall on the floor in a dull blonde ring. When she finishes, she pulls my hair away from my face and twists it into a knot. I note how calm she looks and how focused she is. She is well practiced in the art of losing herself. I can't say the same of myself. I sneak a look at my reflection when she isn't paying attention, not for the sake of vanity, but out of curiosity. A lot can happen to a person's appearance in 3 months. Flip the page. In my reflection, I see a narrow face, wide, round eyes, and a long, thin nose. I still look like a little girl, though sometime in the last few months I turned 16. The other factions celebrate birthdays, but we don't. It would be self-indulgent. There, she says, when she pins the knot into place. Her eyes catch mine in the mirror. It is too late to look away, but instead of scolding me, she smiles at her reflection. I frown a little. Why doesn't she reprimand me for staring at myself? So today is the day, she says. Yes, I reply. Are you nervous? I stare into my own eyes for a moment. Today is the day of the aptitude test that will show me which of the 5 factions I belong in. And tomorrow, at the choosing ceremony, I will decide on a faction. I will decide the rest of my life. I will decide to stay with my family or abandon them. No, I say. The tests don't have to change your choices. Right, she smiles. Let's go eat breakfast. Thank you for cutting my hair. She kisses my cheek and slides the panel over the mirror. I think my mother could be beautiful, in a different world. Her body is thin beneath the gray robe. She has high cheekbones and long eyelashes, and when she lets her hair down at night, it hangs in waves over her shoulders. But she must hide the beauty in abnegation. We walk together to the kitchen. On these mornings when my brother makes breakfast and my father's hand skims my hair as he reads the newspaper and my mother hums as she clears the table, it is on these mornings that I feel guiltiest for wanting to leave them. And then it's got those little asterisk things, which means a new section. Okay. The bus stinks of exhaust. Every time it hits a patch of uneven pavement, it jostles me from side to side, even though I'm gripping the seat to keep myself still. My older brother, Caleb, stands in the aisle, holding a railing above his head to keep himself steady. We don't look alike. He has my father's dark hair and hooked nose, and my mother's green eyes and dimpled chin and dimpled cheeks. When he was younger, that collection of features looked strange, but now it suits him. If he was an abnegation, I'm sure the girls at school would stare at him. He also inherited my mother's talents for selflessness. He gave his seat to a surly candor man. Candor, I think it's candor. To a surly candor man on the bus without a second thought. The candor man wears a black suit with a white tie. Candor's standard uniform. Their faction values honesty and sees the truth as black and white, so that is what they wear. The gaps between the buildings narrow and the roads are smoother as we near the heart of the city. The building that was once called the Sears Tower, we call it the Hub, emerges from the fog, a black pillar in the skyline. The bus passes under the elevated tracks. I have never been on a train, though they never stop running and there are tracks everywhere. Only the dauntless ride them. 5 years ago, volunteer construction workers from abnegation repaved some of the roads. They started in the middle of the city and worked their way outward until they ran out of materials. The roads where I live are still cracked and patchy, and it's not safe to drive on them. We don't have a car anyway. Caleb's expression is placid as the bus sways and jolts on the road. The gray robe falls from his arm as he clutches the pole for balance. I can tell by the constant shift of his eyes that he is watching the people around us, striving to see only them and to forget himself. Candor values honesty, but our faction, abnegation, values selflessness.